Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to the Lionel Travel Podcast. This is episode 11 of the podcast. I'm here in... Wait, is it Delhi or New Delhi?
New Delhi, right?
It's New Delhi?
Technically.
Okay, yeah. New Delhi. In a hotel room with one of my tour mates, Kristin. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thanks for asking me to be a part of this. My name's Kristin. I'm originally from New York, but currently reside in Singapore. I'm a middle school maths teacher at one of the international schools there, so that's how I found myself halfway around the world. So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, great. So yeah, the two of us, as well as 5 other tour mates, embarked on an 8-day tour of India's Golden Triangle. And that's basically Delhi, Jaipur, and Agra. So we had a stopover in Karuli between Jaipur and Agra, which was it's like a rural town.
Yeah.
And it was, the whole experience was really cool. I mean, India's extremely unique.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. Can I ask? This is new. Is this like a conversation? I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah. No. It's free flowing.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, am I supposed to just wait for a question?
No. Yeah. You can just speak up whenever you feel like.
All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. Podcast newbie.
No. Okay. So the first day, well, the same as pretty much every Intrepid trip, is we would meet at 6 p.m.
Yep.
And then have our little brief orientation with the tour leader. Our tour leader this time being Pratibha.
Yep.
And it was actually her first time as a tour leader.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
I think it was quite special for her.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
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 Especially at the end of the tour, because we had taken that group photo in front of the Taj Mahal, and yeah, I'm almost certain that she's gonna frame it.
Like, she said she would, and I 100% believe it.
Yeah,
I think this trip was like a landmark for her, really pretty special, and she got a bit emotional at the end there.
Oh,
yeah. I know. She's lovely. It was nice to be a part of it with her.
Definitely. Yeah. And this being my 6th tour.
Yeah. You've done more than she has. Yeah.
I can say that our group was like really unproblematic, and I think it was definitely a good starter group for her.
Yeah.
If it was, not naming names, but just, some previous iterations, I think would have made her job a lot harder.
Yeah.
And the fact that there was like very little drama or even arguments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It was a pretty easygoing group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was also, in terms of the duration, it was a shorter tour with fewer people as well. So, because they run this Golden Triangle tour so frequently.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I think it was a perfect starter tour for her.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So, after the little intro, we go to have dinner at Hooter.
I think everyone took a photo of either the menu or the sign outside, like, just missing one letter. That was hilarious.
So, because in America, I mean, you can go into it, but there's a restaurant called Hooters.
Yes.
And that and this were completely different.
Very different experiences.
Yeah.
And I don't think poor Pratsy knew, like, understood. Like, I don't think she knew the reference,
No.
right? And just why we were all quite amused by the name of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Bless her.
Well, for the listeners who may not know what Hooters is, would you like to explain?
Wow, I haven't, it's not a establishment I frequent often.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
well,
surprising.
Hooters generally referring to, female, what do you want? Boobs?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Is that, the dress code is pretty scant, emphasizing that body part.
The female form.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is like the uniform. I want to have like short shorts and stockings. I don't know what
I've never been.
Never.
So,
I don't know. It's definitely not like the restaurant we were in though.
Yeah. Instead of like teenage to mid-20s girls, it was middle-aged Indian men.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Quite a big contrast.
Yeah.
There.
Definitely.
But yeah, the food I enjoyed.
Yeah, no, the food was good.
It's solid.
Yeah, definitely.
And that pretty much wraps up day one.
Yeah, I mean, it was our first experience as a group trying to navigate traffic together, because we had to walk from the hotel to the restaurant.
True.
And just, and that's where the magic hand came out. She went her like trying to stop the tuk-tuk, stopping traffic.
Moses.
Yeah. So that, it was, she was like this like mother hen trying to get all the chicks across the road. Yeah, it was quite cute just seeing that, and
definitely
watching some members who were a bit more nervous than others, right? Yeah, it was funny. Yeah.
Oh, but also on the note of Hooters, Sophia, who was one of our tour mates, so she's Mexican.
Yep.
But now lives in the US.
Yes.
And her role as of us recording this is she's a manager for basically a Latino version of Hooters. So she manages all these girls who are also like quite scantily clad and so yeah, that was a bit funny.
Yeah.
But she didn't come to the restaurant, so that whole exchange never happened.
Oh yeah, because her flight was delayed.
Her flight was delayed. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, she would have had a good chuckle.
She would. Yeah, that would have been really funny. Yeah. Darn it.
All right, and so day 2 we do a bit of travel around Delhi.
Yeah.
So we go to one of the mosque.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Sikh temple as well.
Yep. Yeah. Not to pick on Sophia, my favorite part not my favorite part, but was because we went and we had to go into where we changed, right? Took our shoes off, and then we had to walk down the street barefoot to get to the temple. And she was on her tippy toes, she just didn't even want to touch the ground. Yeah, it was really quite funny.
She was speed waddling.
Yeah, definitely.
That was funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the mosque, sorry, just going back to that was where you couldn't take any TikTok videos, right? There was this sign. That was my favorite, no music,
recording
music
videos. Yeah.
So random.
But then because at some point later on the tour, we saw people recording it, so it's a legitimate thing. Yeah. That they need to prevent.
That was at Kitab Minar. Right?
Oh, that's right.
Where they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hilarious.
One other thing that I wanted to touch upon for the Sikh temple was the fact that they do a lot of communal feeding.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so being able to go into the kitchen and seeing them work this giant vat of rice. I mean, It's got to be, what, like 100 liters or something? Just,
massive.
Yeah.
I've never seen a cooking vessel on that scale.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's rice, different curries, dal.
Yeah.
It's like a lentil stew sort of thing.
Yep.
And a few of us helped make chapatis.
Yeah.
And a few of us then were able to try the food.
Yeah.
And it was actually really good.
Yeah, I didn't try it. Being the nervous traveler with my stomach, I didn't try it, but it looked good.
Yeah.
I really do. I love that it was open for anyone. Like you could come off the street and then they would feed you a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Richard said he saw a bunch of like school kids, obviously, who'd come in from school, were coming in to get a meal and in their uniforms. Yeah, it was really lovely.
Yeah, the fact that they're just welcoming to anyone and everyone.
Yeah,
and the hospitality.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then after that, we go to the spice market.
Yeah, but before that, was our first experience when we were walking down that street before we got the samosas. When she bought us the samosa on the corner,
right?
That was our first experience of like the kids coming up and begging. Yeah, and it was definitely like organized, right? Yeah, it was.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, and there was definitely an adult who was
orchestrating it.
Yeah, so that was kind of an eye-opener for the group too, I think, for a lot of folks. Because it is confronting, you know, whether you're on the bus and kids are banging on the windows or coming up to you on the street. But that was our first real experience with it, I think. Yeah.
I definitely think throughout my travels, India has felt like it's had the largest wealth gap.
Yeah.
And it's not that there isn't begging in, other countries, but the fact that you see there's a traffic intersection or one of the traffic islands and there's literally a family living on that island.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite grim.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough. Even after the trip, I was trying to do some research on, why there's such poverty and that gap and that wealth gap, and trying to figure that out. Because there's really highly educated people in India, but I just, I need to do a bit more research on that and figure out. Obviously, it's not because they don't want to make it better for their population.
Yeah.
But it's definitely still a struggle for quite a few people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm by no means an expert, but I do know that, learning from school and a bit of my own research, that the caste system is still very much a thing.
Yes.
And it's these people that could be extremely gifted and everything, but they just aren't given the opportunities based on their caste. So, but I mean, it's
that
not
was,
our first. Yeah.
No, that was like the number one thing that I read about. But I was like, is that really just a big part of it, or what else is there?
Right.
But I do think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which is quite sad.
I wanted to refer back to when I was in Jordan, where our tour leader at that time, basically one of the tour members asked him why there was so much rubbish kind of scattered all over the place. Yeah. Even in some fairly affluent neighborhoods, you would still see like piles of rubbish just in a corner somewhere.
Right.
And he talked about, over in Jordan, it's not a caste system, but it's still very classist.
Okay.
And for the people of the higher classes, they feel like it's not their job to deal with rubbish. So they would freely litter and basically assume that someone would deal
Really?
with it. Yeah.
I had no idea.
So, drawing the parallel,
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of people here as well. And I don't know if you've spotted it, but I've seen quite a few cars that pass us as we're traveling where they would just throw stuff out of the window. And yeah, basically it's someone else's problem. They would always kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but to be fair, I see that in other countries as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Developed
Thailand,
countries.
Malaysia. Yeah. Doesn't make it right. But it's not unique to India either.
Yeah.
But it contributes to the problem.
All right.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, after the
Spice
market,
Yeah.
we have
Oh,
lunch.
yeah, we went lunch at that chain restaurant upstairs.
Haldiram.
Yeah. Yeah. Where we were all sitting waiting for our food to be delivered and realized that we had to go up and get it.
Yeah, to hand the ticket to the staff and then
Yeah.
they would actually give us our food.
And then Richard and Tracy ordered twice.
Yeah, so
yeah.
they had a QR code on the table
Yeah.
and Tracy had filled out the online order and everything. And it said payment successful, but I think extremely soon after she got that message, it showed up with an error. But it turns out that it didn't mean that the order was cancelled. It actually went through, but there was just some other technical issue.
Yeah.
So then they ordered in person.
Yeah.
And then their online order arrived first.
Got
and then,
delivered to the table.
yeah.
Yeah. That was terrible. And that was the first time that I saw Jonas get his fried rice.
Oh, did you get one there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the first time. Which then became the Jonas lunch special.
Yeah.
Minus, usually accompanied by garlic naan, but this time he just had the fried rice.
He was just starting off,
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jonas and Dean were two of our other tour mates. They're from Switzerland.
Yeah.
And they're, just two really funny guys.
Hilarious.
I hope you guys are
Hilarious.
listening to this podcast, but
Yeah.
it actually made the trip so much more funny.
Yeah. DJ Dean.
Yeah, DJ.
I really hope he makes that video. I think he will.
He will.
He was taking lots of really good filming, a lot of good stuff, and writing down the songs that were playing at the time. So he's got his little playlist going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing that
For sure.
when he puts it together. Definitely.
And talking about Richard and Tracy, so they were our two other tour mates from Tasmania in Australia, and their husband and wife.
Yeah.
And so those four, us two and Sophia, completed the small group of ours.
Yeah.
This was the smallest one that I've been in of the 6 tours.
Wow.
And it's definitely a different dynamic.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be. This is my first Intrepid tour, so probably won't be the last though. It was a good experience.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely I can imagine that a small number would be much different than larger groups.
Yeah. And not to say that it's better or worse, it's just different.
Yeah.
I mean, there's pros and cons to any sized group.
Yeah. And I have to admit, because this was my first Intrepid tour, I was completely clueless. I had no idea about age restrictions, because for the listeners, I am significantly older. Over 50. And I had no idea, because I booked it last minute and I was just searching, small group tours, India, because I didn't want to come on my own. And had no idea that there was such a thing. And I just thought it was an adventure travel company.
Yeah.
And then when I found out through you that there were like certain tours where it was like max age was 35, I was like, oh my gosh, am I totally bringing this group down? Like, am I going to be the grandma of the group? When the guys were saying their age, and I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I really hope I don't spoil this tour. So, anyway, that's just a side note.
Yeah. I don't even know if it would actually go through if you put date of birth and then...
Yeah, they've got to. Yeah. But I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So at least now when I search for other tours, I'll make sure that I've, on the right one. Mm-hmm. Open age.
Well, on the website, it's actually basically one of the first things that pops up. There's this little rectangle, and it says this trip is for ages 18 to 35.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Clearly missed that. Oh, well.
It's okay. You picked the right one.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Cool. And yeah, so we went through the spice markets.
Had
lunch.
And then...
went back to the hotel, right?
Yeah, I think Dean and Jonas, did they go off and do their own thing?
And Tracy and Richard.
Yeah. They got lost, like, not lost, but kind of went in the back alleys of the market and had that experience. Yeah. And then we rode the metro. Yeah, we were on the metro.
Yeah, oh, you're right.
Yeah, that was...
Which was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got stuck, though. You couldn't get out for a little bit.
Okay, that was less fine.
No. Yeah.
So I think the shorts that I was wearing, basically I'm a sweaty person. I'm just going to be open with that. And I think the sweat had actually gotten onto my ticket and it smudged the QR code.
Oh, is that what happened?
Which is why it didn't detect on the sensor.
Yeah.
But thankfully there was a very... a good Samaritan basically who helped me get through the gates. And I mean, it was like 30 rupees or something, which is virtually nothing. So,
but you weren't getting out.
Yeah. I don't think the guard would have really batted an eye if I just jumped the gate, but it's okay. We made it out in the end.
Excellent. Yeah. No, I like the fact that we had lots of different modes of transport. Mm-hmm. The metro being one of them. Yeah.
And after we get back to the hotel, we'll chill out for a bit, and then us two and Sophia go to Qutub Minar.
Yeah, that's right. For the 2-hour, 14-kilometer ride or something like that. Yeah. That was crazy.
So basically, Kristin orders us an Uber, and the traffic in Delhi, you need to really be here to experience it, because at times it can be fine.
Yeah.
But then other times, randomly, it's so congested, and it's not just, regular cars. You've got trucks, you've got small lorries, motorbikes, tuk-tuks, basically every form of transport imaginable.
Yeah.
Just on the same street, and lanes are not a thing.
No.
So everything is just, it's like water,
Yeah.
It's very fluid.
It's free flowing.
Yeah.
And everyone communicates via honking their horn.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's, what's the word? It's like a cacophony. Is that
cacophony?
Yeah. Of just honking horns. Mm-hmm. I've never heard anything like it.
Yeah. And
I've lived in Asia for a long time and traveled quite a bit in different countries, and that is something.
Yeah.
The horns.
I think you could definitely bet money that India, or at least New Delhi, is the honkingest place on earth, because it's relentless. It just keeps on going.
And it really is how they communicate. It's like, I want to get by. Until you give way, until you move, I'm just going to lay on that horn.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And they're all different frequencies. They're different honking patterns as well.
Yep, tones.
Yeah, it all just planes together.
Yeah.
And actually the trucks themselves, they would say, blow horn.
Yeah.
Just as a warning for people who are trying to overtake them.
Yeah.
So it's just part of...
Yeah, and use dimmer at night, right?
Yeah.
So your lights, I guess, at night rather than the horn.
So it's all
fascinating.
part of the system here.
Yeah, totally part of the culture.
Yeah.
Like, totally accepted. But yeah, 2 hours to travel out there. But I felt like it was worth it.
Yeah.
To get to Kitab Minar, right? I liked it.
It was great.
Yeah.
I think just before we arrived, though, the whole gas station situation.
Oh, yeah.
Which we still didn't get the answer to.
Yeah, no idea why.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so the driver, as we're on our way, pulled up to a gas station. Obviously, he had to fill the tank, so asked if we can pull in, and we did. But as soon as he pulled in to pump the gas, we all had to get out of the car. So he turned the car off, and it wasn't just him. He made all of us get out of the car.
Yep.
And I had that brief moment, I'm sure you did as well. It's like, is he going to just leave us in the middle of Delhi at this petrol station, and we're going to have to find another way home? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then when we asked Prati, she didn't believe that was a thing either, though.
Yeah.
But it also seemed like everyone else at the station was getting out.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't just us.
No. It was every other car.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, okay, I guess it's a thing here.
It must be a thing.
Yeah.
But...
And it was fast as well. I mean,
yeah,
took 2
super
minutes.
Quick. Yeah.
We're back in the car and heading over.
Yeah. Crisis over.
Yeah, that was
He didn't ditch us.
A strange little event of ours.
Yeah.
Then Kitab Minar.
Yeah.
Which was the first fortified city in India or Delhi? Okay, I don't remember the specifics, but basically there's a really tall tower, which is they call it the Victory Tower, and there's a bunch of other like temples and a few ruins as well in the area, and
it's it is Delhi's oldest fortified city.
Nice.
Lal Kot.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Google.
And I know one thing that we talked about when we were there was just how different it was to being in the city, because it was quite a drive to get out there, but it was like the lawns were freshly cut. There was like clean air, and everything just felt really nice.
Yeah, it was peaceful. Yeah. It was a beautiful blue sky.
Birds chirping.
Yeah. It was really lovely. Yeah, it was quite different to being in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
And they were filming music videos. Right?
Yeah. Oh, man.
What else?
I mean, after that, we kind of just went back because we were worried that there'd be a lot of traffic heading back to the hotel, but thankfully there wasn't.
No, it was much faster on the way back.
Yeah. So we ended up returning with plenty of time to spare before dinner, so we had time to just take a breather, and then went out that night as well. Yeah. And I think the following day we go to Jaipur. Yeah. Yeah. And we had... Oh, man. Do you remember the name of our driver? It was a bit unique, I think.
Yeah. No, but he was lovely.
Yeah, no, he was great.
I really thought he was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what was his name, though? I can't remember. Yeah. That's really terrible.
I'm drawing a blank, too.
Yeah. But no, I really would definitely say that I felt like he was a safe driver. He was a kind person. Mm-hmm. He was good at what he did. Yeah, he was so pleasant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was quite happy with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, well, basically, if we talk about the transport itself, so we had, would you call it a bus? It's like it's not a minivan.
No, it's a bus, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a small school bus, kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not one of those long...
Maybe minibus then?
Minibus? Yeah. Yeah, I'd say minibus.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it was 10 seats, maybe?
Yeah,
right?
Including the back row, but then our luggage would usually be there. And so we had the same transport throughout our Golden Triangle trip.
Right.
With the same driver, and compared to the other trips I've done, because all of the other trips were the basic package.
Yeah.
Basically, Intrepid has 3 tiers of tour.
Yeah.
So there's basics, original, which is the one that we did, and then premium.
Isn't there a comfort level too now? I feel like there's comfort.
Oh, there could be.
Yeah, because I think I looked at a comfort one.
Is that not premium?
No, I think there's a difference between comfort and premium.
Okay.
I
don't know where to slot it.
This is your... Yeah, I have no idea. You're talking to the first time Intrepid girl. You didn't even know there was an age difference. I could be totally making this up.
Oh, good. All I wanted to say from that is this was my first non-basics tour.
Okay.
And I think accommodation-wise, it was very similar to the accommodation of the basics.
Basic, yeah.
The main difference being the transport.
Okay.
And again, I don't know if the same can be said for other original packages. Maybe it's just because this is a shorter trip, so it just makes sense for us to keep the same vehicle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the biggest difference that I found.
Oh, okay.
Was that, and our minibus was really great.
Yeah, I loved it.
Like super comfy.
Yep.
AC was great.
Yeah.
If you wanted, you could just close the little flaps on it as well.
Had the little shades if it got too sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that definitely helped a lot because I've been in some not so comfortable, vans and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, this was a welcome change.
Nice. Excellent. Good way to start wrapping it up for you.
True.
Yeah.
And, yeah, after we depart, I mean, there's always like a rest stop midway through our travels because basically between all of these cities and towns, it's about 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
And, to use restrooms and then like grab a bite, we'd stop at one of these, I guess like a truck stop almost kind of thing.
Yeah, and they were called midways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
midway.
Yeah.
Very fitting.
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically the one that we had, the midway to Jaipur.
Was that the one where there was the coffee? Where...
Oh.
Right? That might be where I got my half a 50 rupee bill.
Okay, yeah.
Because, that was where you got the first fancy coffee.
Yeah, the cold coffee.
Yeah, the cold coffee. And then we all each had something to eat. Yeah. I think
Yeah, and we both had the vegetable fried rice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jonas special.
Shout out to Jonas. That was probably then. Yeah. When you...
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those who have no idea what we're talking about, I paid cash with a 500 rupee note and got back what I thought was 170 rupee. The 100 was like stretched out, and then the 20 was folded over the 50, and I just shoved it in my bag. And then next time I went to pull it out, it turned out that I had a full 20 and only half a 50. Somebody scammed me. Yeah. What am I going to do with a half a 50 note? So, lesson learned. Pull out your notes. Make sure you see that they're all complete. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the craziest thing was, it was very clearly cut in half. Yeah. It was like a perfect, right down the middle, half of a 50.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely intentional and a bit seedy.
Yeah.
But I should also mention, basically, well, Dean and Jonas, they had been in Delhi, I think 2 or 3 days, 2 days,
Yep.
yeah, before the tour started. So they had gone to see a few of the notable landmarks around the area, and they, I can't recall distinctly, but they either someone attempted to scam them or they did scam them. No, I think it was just attempted, and they're like, they called the guy out, and his response was, India's business, bro.
I didn't hear this story before. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, how did I miss that?
So that kind of just became a meme for the remainder of the trip, where every time there was just some guy trying to be a hustler, we'd just be like, India's business, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That's quite funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Jaipur.
So we're on our way to Jaipur. What was our first? Did we go anywhere before the hotel, or did we go straight to the hotel?
I think it was just straight there.
Yeah. Right?
And that was the jewelry day.
Yeah, so we definitely went to the hotel first.
Yeah.
Which I think was my favorite place, the favorite accommodation.
Yeah.
And again, like craziness, traffic, all this insanity, and you just turn left down this teeny tiny little alleyway, and it was just this oasis of serenity, right? And the front lawn, like this beautiful front lawn that's not walled off, but like with trees and stuff kind of set back, and this front porch, and yeah, I loved it. It was really, and the rooms were really quaint, and each of the levels had like a little garden sitting area.
They would play live music as well.
Yeah, and that night, and because we changed it. We were gonna have dinner out, but then she changed it so that we could see the folk music and the dancing there.
So we ended up having dinner at the hotel.
Yeah, I like that though.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the dinner, we ended up going to the jewelry store.
Yeah.
And then learning about the whole process of, well, like cutting, polishing all of these precious and semi-precious stones.
Yep.
The different types of stones there are, and then we were set free to go look
Shop.
at anything that piqued our interest, and a few of us got some things. I got this little garnet bracelet, which I'm very happy.
Yeah, it's nice.
And a few of the other guys got some stuff as well. And after that we just headed back to the
and
hotel.
that we did. Was that tuk-tuk though? Wasn't that? Were we in the tuk-tuks in the craziness? Like Jaipur was next level crazy with the traffic and the tuk-tuks.
Was it that day?
Was it that day?
Oh, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we end up basically walking the market streets of Jaipur.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like cows, and then camels.
Yeah.
The spices, they hit me really hard.
Yeah.
I was just sneezing a lot.
Several people, same. But I loved it. It was chaos.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
It's the real India.
Yeah. And I don't know, for some reason it was different to Delhi. And I enjoyed it more. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm embracing it a bit more, but I definitely enjoyed that experience. That was where the turbans were drying up she showed us.
Oh, yeah.
Across the road.
And Jaipur is also known as the Pink City.
Yep.
because they were welcoming one of the royal family who was coming to visit, and to, I
Impress
guess,
him.
yeah,
Really, just
decide to paint almost the entirety of the city one color.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Yeah, and that's where we learned that the 3 gates, you had to go through the 3 arches,
Yeah.
right, to get into the city.
Mhm.
And it used to be the middle one was only for royalty.
Yeah.
And then you had them for men and women,
Yeah.
separate sides.
Mhm.
So I think we went through the middle. I think we were royalty.
I think, Percy tried to hammer that home.
Yep.
Like, you guys are royalty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that pretty much wraps up.
When did we go to the Bollywood, though? Was that Bollywood? That was in Jaipur. Was it that night?
No, must have been the following.
Had to be, right?
Yeah. Because, wait, were you already not feeling the best
No,
then?
I was fine in Jaipur.
Okay. It was only...
Agra.
What about in Karuli?
Oh, no, it was Karuli, sorry.
Yeah.
That's when I was sick.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so then, the next day we go to the Amber Palace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was... And trying to recall all the history is a bit tough.
Yeah. You stall for time and I'll consult Google.
Sure. But basically, we get into our minibus and then get dropped off by this lake, and there's a fortress. So basically, it's really reminiscent in style and even appearance to the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
And it kind of like snakes around this whole boundary area, and we then shift from the minibus to jeeps, and then the jeeps eventually, after a bunch of traffic, take us to the top of the fort area. And did you want to talk about that?
I mean, just kind of a fort.
Okay.
But a couple of things while you're looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first experience with snake charming. Like, you have had plenty of
Multiple
experience.
instances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I was completely freaked out by the fact that you were standing there and then these guys just started
Yeah,
playing.
they just drop a basket.
Yeah, drop a basket, sit down next to you, drop the basket, take the lid off, start playing music, and these cobras are coming up.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was, I do not like snakes. I was completely freaked out that you were going to step backwards and land in one of these baskets or something.
Right.
And you were so, like, nonchalant about it. Like, oh my gosh. And then the other memorable thing there was, like, our F1 driver in the Jeep. He was amazing.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about that too.
Yeah, okay, cool.
The fact that on the ride to the fort, we took what our driver was saying was a shortcut. Mm-hmm. And they were extremely narrow streets. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think they were designed for cars to actually go through, but
No.
they found a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was basically from the main road, he suddenly made a sharp turn. And the next thing you know, it feels like we're in an action movie. Because he's pretty much full pedal to the middle.
Oh, yeah.
And just weaving through not only the streets, but, people, other cars, motorbikes, everything.
Yeah.
And he was just, like, laughing the whole time.
Yeah. He was totally in control.
Mm-hmm.
But it was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that first left-hand turn that he made at speed.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my god, I'm going out of this Jeep. I thought I was going to get flung right out.
And because there are no seatbelts.
No seatbelts, nothing to hold on to. Yeah.
Minimal cushioning.
And and that was the one where poor Jonas's head.
Yeah.
He was up into the roof.
Yeah. So Jonas is a pretty tall boy.
Yeah.
And that Jeep was not designed for people of his stature.
No. Definitely not.
But thankfully on the return ride he sat in the shotgun seat.
Yeah.
So there was much more space there for him.
Yeah, definitely.
But man.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Amberford?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. It's so impressive. Mm-hmm. And it did remind me of when you said the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Reminiscent of that. I'm the red sandstone everywhere. And not just here. I find it striking.
Yeah.
Especially against like a blue sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was one of the first times that I realized that Sophia was going to buy every tourist trinket.
Yeah.
I love you, Sophia. She single-handedly upheld the economy.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "What? You got that for $1,000? I paid $3,000 for that."
Yeah.
Like, she just would not bargain well at all.
She would just cave
her.
every time.
Yeah, she just caved to any little kid handing out money.
Yeah.
They knew exactly who to go to.
Yeah.
So funny.
Played with her heartstrings.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Swiss guys called Sophia the shopping queen.
Yeah. I just remember she like literally was running across that's what at Amberford came like running across at me, like, because kids were running. She's like, "Tell them to go away."
Yeah.
I can't get rid of them. Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, one other thing, because I'd had some friends from social media basically say, "Oh, the place, like, why is it called Amberford?"
Yeah.
Because they thought that wasn't really amber colored.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Yeah.
And it turns out that amber, or like amber, is a deity.
Yes.
In the Hindu religion.
Yeah.
I think it's Hindu. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's not the color.
It has nothing to do with the color. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's Prati told us that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, basically from there, textiles.
Was it textiles next? Probably.
It was the day after.
I think textiles might have been the next day. So maybe it was Bollywood afternoon. No?
Yeah, no, so that day was the
Is it terrible that they're all running together now? Oh yeah, because that was balloon.
Yeah, that was balloon day.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So that was me, Sophia, Dean, and Prati did that up at 4 a.m. for a 5 o'clock departure, and at 4:20 when my alarm went off, I really was thinking, did I really want to do this? Is this something that I want to do? And yeah, for the three of us though, it was totally surreal. So we were in the streets of India at 5 a.m, and Dua Lipa is on the radio rocking out like with no traffic. It was hilarious. That was one of the standout moments that Dean will especially appreciate if he's listening. But I will say it was worth it. It was a phenomenal experience because you get there and probably get to the site around 6 and it's still kind of dark and there's bunch of cars and other people, and as they're getting the balloons ready and blowing them up and the sun's starting to come up at first they looked like these two kind of just gray blobs, right? Because
Yeah.
you can't see anything. And as there's more light coming up and you start to see the colors in the balloons,
Yeah.
and it was quite cool. And there were 2 balloons and about 18 people in each one, in each basket.
Yeah.
And our balloon captain, for lack of a better word, I don't know what his term is, was this hilarious old French guy. He was so funny. And like, it's one of those, he had so many classic remarks that, you kind of had to be there, but he made it really interesting. He's clearly been doing this for a long time. I felt totally safe. He knew exactly. It was so impressive watching him land, like, because we would come down and then he'd realize, no, the way the winds were shifting, that it wasn't where he had to be. So we'd go back up and he'd let the wind shift a bit. And he was in total control of that thing.
Yeah.
And as you're going over these small towns and kids are out on the roof, like the locals are out. He said the kids love the balloons. He said that, they're up waving, hello, screaming, hello. And they love watching the balloons. So yeah, it was very peaceful and quiet and just it was a wonderful experience. I would definitely say it was worth it.
Yeah.
And we had great weather. And I would definitely recommend that if anybody's considering it. Yeah. So it was an early start, but well worth it.
I guess that's the major downside is because it's such an early start. Because I've done 2 hot air balloons during this year, and if you're still part of a tour and there are all these activities planned for the rest of the day, by the end of the day, like, you are really feeling the 4 a.m. start.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Sophia looked at Dean and I later that day, and she's like, "How are you 2 still awake?" But she was still jet lagged, poor thing, coming from the U.S. So we weren't in as bad a shape as she was.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that must have been Bollywood night, no?
Was Bollywood night and the textiles not the same day? Was that the day after?
I don't know.
Honestly, it's a blur to me.
Yeah, it is a blur. Anyway, we did go to textiles, and that's where I spent all my money.
Almost.
Almost. Well, initially. Saved some for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, we learned about the
block printing.
Yeah, block printing, and I mean they had such a wide array of different garments and the different fabrics as well. Not only was there the typical cotton and silk, but then they had like pashmina, and what are the other ones? Basically just like any fabric that you wanted, even blends of multiple fabrics as well.
Yeah,
they had everything.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you went to town.
I went to town.
Oh, Kashmir. I was going to say Kashmir.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had bedding sent to 3 different countries. So there's a couple bed covers going to the U.S. for my mom and my sister. One's going to New Zealand for my mother-in-law. Got 2 going to Singapore for us. That's not, and that's just the bedding. I also got a whole bunch of like table runners and placemats, little gift bags for friends, tops like the one I'm wearing. I had them made. That's the thing. So we were there in the afternoon.
Yep.
They measured me.
Oh yeah, no, it was the day. It was after and before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the textiles.
Yeah. And so measured me.
Yep.
I picked out the fabric. By that night at 10 o'clock, they actually brought it to dinner.
Oh, right.
He showed up at the restaurant because I thought they were going to deliver it to the hotel. And next thing I know, this guy's there holding a bag as we were at that rooftop restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like, how did he? And he had messaged Pratsy. But it's unbelievable. Tailor-made clothes within hours.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's and I mean they fit, right? It's not like then they do a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did some damage at the house shop. Tony, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Yeah. But it was just beautiful, right? Just the fabrics.
And the different patterns as well.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed that. And I don't know, it's something, I mean, clothes, yeah, hopefully I'll have them for a while, but definitely like the bedding, the linens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know those gifts are things that people will have. And it's a special memory from the trip.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
Then after dinner...
Yeah, so that was rooftop dinner.
Yeah.
And...
Wait, no, was Bollywood not... Bollywood was on that day.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know when it was,
Okay, well,
but we need to talk about it,
yeah.
right?
I mean, I think you were pretty fried by the end of that day, so
Yeah.
it might have all just kind of blurred
Yeah.
together. But yeah, no, so we end up taking the minibus to this theater,
Yeah.
which is, I think it's like 70s theme, or
Yeah.
it was actually just made in the 70s,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
they did a really good job at keeping it in like mid condition.
Yeah.
Because it was extremely nice. It was better than a lot of the cinemas back home.
Yeah. It was pretty cush.
Yeah.
Those seats were super soft and really cozy.
And reclinable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we grabbed a few snacks and drinks and then
Yeah.
Went into the theater to watch a Bollywood movie.
Yeah. And
it was a weird plot, to say the least.
Not what I expected.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Do you want to give like a brief summary?
A brief summary?
Yeah.
Brief summary. Boy and girl are supposed to be getting married.
Yeah.
Somehow, something goes wrong. Somebody gets mad. They don't get married. But boy, who I thought she was going to be marrying, ends up and somehow they get married.
Mm-hmm.
They go on their honeymoon.
And basically make a sex tape.
Basically
on a DVD.
Yeah, on a DVD.
Yeah.
In, I think, like, Goa. I
Yeah.
feel like that's where they were.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they come back home and the house gets robbed.
Yeah.
DVD player gets stolen.
With the sex tape in it.
With the sex tape in it. And then he spends the rest of the movie that we saw trying to recover it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the heart to tell her that he's lost it.
Mm-hmm.
But then she thinks he's up to something, so she starts following him.
Yeah.
And then one of the clues that he had was some tourist that had one of the items that was stolen from the house.
Yeah.
So he has her take him
It was
to
a
wherever.
girl from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Just randomly.
Yeah. And so then the wife sees him with this other woman and now thinks that he's cheating.
Yeah.
He eventually finds the guy who stole it, right?
Yeah.
But then he's dead in the hotel room or
So-
wherever he is.
Yeah, I mean, I was just so perplexed by all of it, so I decided to get a bit more clarity by reading the plot
Oh yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
And it turns out the guy who stole it, he wasn't dead in the hotel room, but he was basically in like a drug-induced coma.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot tell. He looked dead.
Yeah.
He definitely
Yeah.
looked dead. Yeah, and I'm reading the plot for the rest of the
Yeah.
movie that we didn't watch.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any more linear. Like,
Really?
It's so chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was highly entertaining.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Even without knowing anything that they're saying.
Yeah, no clue what they were saying.
Yeah, no subtitles.
No subtitles, no. But it was quite funny.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Dean loved the Bollywood dancing. Right?
Yes.
That one scene, the
Yeah,
big dance
at the
scene.
start.
Oh yeah, he was
Yeah.
loving that.
Yeah, so we end up leaving. So Bollywood movies, notoriously extremely long.
Yeah.
And what they would do is the theaters would have an intermission, much like a Broadway musical, so people can, you know, use the facilities, restock on food if they want, and then return for the second act. But we left after the first act to the rooftop restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a cool experience.
Yeah, I'm really glad we did it. Yeah, because I was hesitant. I was like, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. I don't know if I want to do this. But yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so then after that day, we head towards Karuli.
Yeah. That was a bad day for me.
Yeah, so that's when it hit you, right?
Yeah. I was fine in the morning. And then, I don't know, like, felt kind of not great as we were getting on the bus. And then just, it was bad.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, kind of lightheaded, dizzy, upset stomach. But luckily, it wasn't official deli belly where it wasn't that it was, but I did end up vomiting. Sorry, folks. Multiple times. But then the miracle of that is, though, 24 hours later, I was fine. Like, so I pretty much missed all of Karuli.
Yeah.
Just went, checked in, went to bed. I hadn't eaten all day. Yeah, because I didn't eat lunch. I didn't even have lunch with the group. I just went straight to my room.
Yes.
And then around 8 o'clock, I asked for a bowl of rice.
Yeah.
That was all I had all day. And somewhere between 8 and midnight, I managed to eat the bowl of rice.
Yeah.
And I was just drinking like electrolytes and water all night. But I would like fall asleep for an hour, wake up, fall asleep for an hour, wake up, and I like couldn't even. I was tired. Yeah. But then I wasn't 100% when I woke up, but I definitely felt better. And then by midday, I was fine.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre.
It's just a short burst of illness.
Yeah. So whatever it was, there was definitely something in my system, and the second time I puked, I think, really took care of it, and I just had to flush it all out of my system.
Yeah.
So I feel, honestly, knock on whatever, I'll take that. I'm grateful that that's as bad as it was, because I think I mentioned that I don't have the strongest system, and I really was concerned that I was going to get hit hard by some bad illness. So to only miss the one day, I mean, not that you want to miss anything. I feel like
that was the day.
Yeah, that was the day to miss, because I was really worried about missing the Taj.
Yeah. So with Curly, well, when we arrived, we get a notification from Protzi that the hotel that we were meant to stay at, there was a it's not robbery, but basically goods from the previous tour group were stolen, including money. And while Intrepid was investigating this case, they organized or arranged for us to go to a different accommodation.
A palace.
So, and we arrive, it's gated, some guy opens it up, and then we go through, and it's just really cool. It's a colonial style Indian palace, and they have a farm, stables. They have a classic car collection.
Oh man, really? I missed all that. Oh, I missed all of this.
And then even a bunch of, I think, World War II and even maybe one memorabilia as well. A bunch of palanquins, which you'd used for the royalty to kind of get from A to B.
Really?
And yeah. So, yeah, that was all part of the tour before the dinner. But I mean, you were out for the whole day, so
Yeah.
yeah, none of that
Yeah.
you saw. But
No, and that was I did mention to you before when we got in there, it seemed like at first that we were the only people there, right? It was super quiet.
no, we were.
And
Yeah.
and then you guys left, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm all alone in this random palace in the middle of India, locking all my doors.
Yeah.
And then when he helped me go into my room, he turned on the air conditioning, the aircon.
Yeah.
But as soon as he did that, the electricity kept tripping. I don't know if...
It was the whole complex.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, man. So I just turned the air off, and I just had the fan going,
Okay.
and then it seemed to be better. I thought, well,
Right.
I don't want to be responsible for no one having any electricity.
Yeah.
But, yeah, side note.
But I don't remember who said it. It might have been one of the Swiss guys, but they said that this palace was basically the set of a murder mystery novel.
Oh, totally.
There was all of these like life-size portraits of the former royalty that was there.
Yeah.
There was a taxidermied tiger and heaps of taxidermied like deers and stags, other antelope
Yeah.
things just hung all over the palace. And there was a central courtyard as well, which was really beautiful.
Yeah, it was stunning.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
Yeah, it would be like Clue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who said that's genius? Yeah, whoever said it. Spot on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that was... I really can't think of another accommodation that I've had on tours. That was, like, by far the most unique.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it
nice.
was just
cool.
so different to anything. And... yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Tracy, somebody said, is there actually a king who came out or some guy who came out?
Okay, so that
Who was-
still a point of debate because Prasi continued to mention that there was a guy when we were returning from the town tour
Yeah.
who greeted us, and Prasi didn't say anything to or about that guy who we saw. So I just assumed either he was just some random staff member
Yeah.
or he was just a guy who was staying at the same time as us
Okay.
at the palace. But it turns out that guy is the owner,
Ah, okay.
but Percy referred to him as the king of the palace. Like very...
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
She kept saying king. Like, she didn't refer to him as with any other title.
Really?
Yeah, but then she said that although he is still the king, it's basically just the king of this plot of land.
Yeah, okay.
And that he, because of the whole new government and everything, it's no longer like what it was in the old days. So he doesn't have much power.
Yeah.
So my guess, which I was saying to some of the other guys, was that if you're translating the title to like Western terminology, it would probably be something closer to a lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Where they have like jurisdiction over their plot of land, but nothing outside of that.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that's my guess at least.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
And yeah, the dinner that night was really good. Not to rub it in.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But you also did the tour of the town, right?
Yeah, it was fairly short.
Yeah, okay.
We met some of the locals.
Okay.
And we were very happy to see us.
Yeah.
There was, not that I can recall, I don't think there was any begging actually.
Okay.
Maybe they were instructed beforehand or something, but yeah, it was really quaint.
Okay.
There was like a little market going on, and we ended up having a small tour of one of the village houses.
Okay.
And it's tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a family of, it looked like at least 10 people, and the beds were kind of stacked on the sides of the walls, and they'd come out during nighttime.
Yeah. Okay.
And it'd be like open air as well.
Yeah.
And cooking was done inside in this very, I think it'd be maybe a meter tall ceiling. It's really short, yeah. So there was a girl that was like squatting in that little kitchen area with a like portable gas stove.
Wow.
Cooking something.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they have basically nothing.
Yeah.
And but they were really happy. I mean, they say hi.
Okay.
A few of the younger kids, I think, because there was at least one school. I think there were maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
In the area, so they were learning English, and so they were trying to like practice.
Right.
And that's what I've noticed about a few of the other developing countries that I've been to as well, is I think they're really trying to push English as like this universal language. So a lot of these kids, they're a lot less shy than Western children for the most part. And so they would just come up and be like, "Hi, how are you? What's your name?"
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they want to practice. I had that experience when on the first day before we met, when I had a private guide, and I had a girl come up who wanted to practice her English and just it was good. Yeah. Right? Develop that confidence for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't get that opportunity that frequently.
Yeah.
So
I imagine.
Well, they have the chance.
Yeah, definitely.
And we ended up also going to a Hindu temple in the village.
Oh, okay.
And I believe the temple is dedicated to Krishna.
Okay.
And the Hindu god family tree is extremely complex.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because you're not only talking about the like 3 main deities, but then they're their children's, and then they're also reincarnations as well. So I think Krishna was like the 9th reincarnation of one of the main deities, and it's
I don't know.
There's a lot, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
And so so we got to see one of the worshipping sessions live.
Oh, okay.
And it was cool. They were basically the organizers. I don't know if you can call them priests, but the title of the people that work there.
Right.
They had bowls of water, and they were basically using their fingers to like sprinkle it on the crowd.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was like a way of like purification and that kind of thing. So really interesting to see. Yeah. And after that, we took some tuk-tuks back to the palace.
Yeah, to the palace.
Yep.
So you went from the 1 meter high kitchen area with people who have basically nothing to the palace with the classic car collection. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Just making sure.
Just an average day.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, then the following day we have breakfast. Did you have stuff to eat?
Yeah. I had toast.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, plain stuff.
Yeah. That was out in the courtyard. Yeah.
And so we had breakfast where we had dinner the previous night in the courtyard. So it's a really just calm place. I mean, compared to Jaipur, Delhi, there was infinitely less people.
Oh yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. And then we head to Agra. Yeah. And Agra is the home of the Taj Mahal, or Mahel, I think
Yes,
is actually how
correct.
you
Yeah, I picked up on that as well. Yeah.
Because Taj in Hindi is jewel, and Mahal is palace.
Palace. Yeah.
And so, yeah, we end up getting to Agra, checking into the hotel. We had a bit of time, so then we end up going to the revolving restaurant in the hotel.
The merry-go-round.
The merry-go-round restaurant. And I think it does make sense because you can see the Taj from that hotel.
Yeah.
But there was just something about, well, we were the only people in the restaurant and it's spinning at a snail's pace.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Swiss guys found that incredibly funny.
Oh, yeah. And that's when Jonas said he wanted to just keep moving tables.
Yeah, because he didn't want to move.
Because he didn't want to move, so he was going to keep moving over a seat to stay in one spot.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, man. Yep.
And then... Oh, sorry, I messed up. Before we arrive at the hotel, we go to Fatehpur Sikri.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is another, like, what do you even call it? Temple complex?
Yeah, I guess so. That's when Sophia wasn't feeling well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she, I think, had taken some medication and she felt that her
heart
rate was her heart was racing.
Yeah.
But eventually...
it was super hot that day,
It was, and there was pretty limited shade going from place to place.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, thankfully it was nothing serious and she returned to normal a bit later on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Fatehpur Sikri was... It was another just great place to kind of take it all in. Yeah. There was a lot of mixtures of religions, and that was symbolized by the different types of architectures in the complex as well. And a lot of these places were not too busy.
Yeah, no, we were lucky.
Yeah.
We were super lucky with that.
Yeah. Was there anything else you want to add about the visit?
No, I'm trying to think. There was the one thing that, sorry, not about the sites, but which part of the journey was it that we had to reroute and we added an hour and a half due to the accident?
It was that day.
It was that day?
Yeah.
Was it before Fatehpur Sikri or after?
It was before.
Before.
Yeah, because I was in the morning. Yeah. And we were in Fatehpur Sikri in the early afternoon.
Yeah. So we had to... So we were merrily along our way.
Yeah.
And then we turned down that... First of all, how the driver knows where to go, right? It just seemed like we were just turning down a side road. And then there was this massive crowd down the end of the road.
Crowd.
Like, massive. Yeah. So we stopped. We didn't even get close. And then he rolled down the window and started asking questions. Yeah. And then Prati actually got out, didn't she? And went and talked to people.
Yeah.
And she told us that there was an accident.
Yeah.
And they were waiting for the police
to arrive.
Yeah. And it was going to take a long time for the crowd to disperse. So we were going to have to kind of turn around, reroute. Yeah. And it was going to add an hour and a half to the journey. Yeah. And at that point, I was still like not 100% thinking, oh my gosh, really? Like another hour and a half on this journey. Yeah. But in the end, apparently that was probably our best choice because later, I forget at what point I was talking to Prati and I said, oh, was anyone hurt during the accident? And she looked at me and she said, well, yes, of course, it was a murder. Pardon? you said accident.
Mhm.
I'm thinking car accident.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there was, and she used that term more than once again. Like she said murder and asked, oh, do you have murder in Singapore? And so I think actually that's what it was. And I think we were quite lucky to not have gone down that way and tried to make our way through the post-murder mob.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
And also
my-
to the listeners, I learned about this today, like
Yeah.
literally an hour before we started recording this. So
Yeah.
that was news to me as well.
I know.
I did not hear about that.
No, that was just a conversation she and I had. She didn't say it to anyone else.
Just to avoid distressing
Yeah,
people.
I'm sure.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But wow.
Yeah, like blew my mind. Yeah.
Someone was straight offed
Yeah.
on our route.
Just down the road.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah, so kudos to Intrepid for rerouting us
Yeah,
and
yeah.
getting us to our destination safely.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Did not want to mention that to any family members until after I'm home safe and sound.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, dude. All right. Sorry. Yeah, that was a
No,
little
yeah, no,
detour.
that was very necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after Fatih Secret, we get to the hotel,
Yeah.
merry-go-round, and then almost immediately after that, because of the delay, we had to make our way to the Taj.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there was a local guide who met with us, and you know, we dealt with the whole entrance stuff.
Pretty strict security.
Yeah.
Lost my Trident gum. Darn it. Forgot.
Not the
didn't
gum.
Yeah, I know. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I had it in my bag.
And then Richard lost his fountain pen ink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. And Sophia, what did she have? Mexico flag? I think she had a Mexico. She brought a flag that she wanted her photo taken with, and they took it.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, did you not know that
No,
one?
no, no, I
yeah.
didn't. Wow.
Yeah. Bummer.
Damn.
Yeah. And she earlier in the day, that's right, because they took the
Oh yeah, at Fatih Sikri.
yeah,
Yeah.
were they like marigolds?
Yeah, her marigold wreath.
Yeah, she wasn't allowed to bring that in.
Because you're not permitted to bring religious paraphernalia
Yeah.
into the temple.
Yeah. So I said to her, oh man, I was like, it's not your day.
Yeah.
But she did actually, I think she got the flag back after
Oh, okay.
because I think she had selfie stick and flag and they
Yeah.
took them off her, but she did get those back,
nice.
whereas she
Okay.
didn't get the marigold.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Someone's probably wearing it for Diwali as we speak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and to the listeners, today's Diwali.
Yeah, happy
So,
Diwali. Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is...
Crazy.
It's cool though.
Yeah,
Being
it-
here for such a significant part
Yeah.
of the Indian calendar.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's also Halloween this
True,
year, right?
yes.
Falls on the same day this year.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so also, I would be remiss, my nephew's birthday.
Yes.
So, happy birthday, Stephen.
Happy birthday, Stephen.
Yeah.
And yeah, after we make it through the security, we get to the main gate.
Yep.
And already the gate itself is extremely impressive.
Yeah.
It is huge.
Yeah, it is pretty massive.
And then there was a bunch of, I think it was Arabic inscriptions around the whole archway, and everything was either made of marble or some other like precious stone.
Yeah.
Just the fact that if you see the gate, you see the Taj as well as the neighboring mosque and
Guest house.
guest house.
Yeah.
The sheer amount of money
Oh.
that to like bankroll constructing all of this.
Oh, my word.
It's next level.
Yeah.
And because one of the local guides that we were accompanied with was saying how the emperor at the time
I think
was making
like $1 million something, over $1 million a year.
US dollars.
Yeah. Back at that time.
Then,
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, if you adjust for inflation,
I can't even imagine.
like, he was a trillionaire.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
And, man, just, so, like, after hearing about that, you realize, okay, so these guys, money was not an object to them, so they could just build whatever.
Yeah, and clearly.
Yeah.
He
So,
did.
thankfully they made the Taj, and we get to enjoy it even now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did not disappoint.
No. Was...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in contention for most beautiful building in the world.
Yeah, it really is breathtaking. And just from every angle, you know, and just all the optical illusions from, you know, when you're looking at it, whether it's getting further away from you or closer, depending on perspective and all of that. It's just, it's amazing. And the symmetry, just the reflecting pools leading up to it. It just, it's so stunning.
Yeah.
Like, so stunning.
And we were there near the sunset time.
Yeah.
So
magical.
Yeah, just the way that the sun casts its light onto the palace, or technically it's a mausoleum?
Mausoleum,
sorry, yeah. I forgot how to pronounce that for a second.
Yeah.
Mausoleum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a memorial for his wife.
Mm.
Like the true love story, right? Like he built it across from the fort so he could always look at it.
Yeah.
So he could see her.
And the fact that this was made in memory of the wife. So the wife never actually saw the Taj.
I know. And then his two other wives are buried on these, on the same complex in these crappy little tombs. We can't say that too, but not really the Taj. The arranged marriage wives did not get not the same treatment.
Yeah, just a little tad of favoritism.
Yeah. Love definitely won out on that one. Yeah.
And we also had the opportunity to have a bit of a photo shoot.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, originally I was like, no. And then when he said, 100 rupee for each photo. I'm like, okay, let's see what you got.
You got me.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that was our best move. Because he knew where to put you. He was able to tell people to move away.
Yeah.
Like those shots in front of the reflecting pool, it looks like no one else is there.
Yeah.
Like, it looks fake because it looks as though no one else is in front of the Taj Mahal and it's just you. That's the best 100 rupee I've ever spent.
And we also got a group picture as well, which was really nice. Yeah, so
that's the one that Pratsy's gonna frame.
Yeah. So cute.
Yeah. No, that was a highlight for me. I mean, you hear about it and you think, yeah, it's going to be beautiful, but I don't know, it's just the whole feeling of the area and everything. It's really fantastic. I want to go back.
You can at some point.
I know. And it was like watching Richard and Tracy too. Like Richard really was looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's like a kid at a candy shop.
Yeah, and just seeing like a couple together, and because he kept saying it's the most romantic place on earth, and all, and he was just, it was quite special. So just taking all of that in was really nice.
Yeah.
And it's still, I know we haven't gotten to the Agra fort yet, but just viewing the Taj from the fort, even from further away, is still magnificent. Yeah. Like even when in that mist that we saw it was fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, really cool.
It's just a silhouette.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it feels almost like a fairy tale.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there wasn't too much after the Taj. I mean, that was the main reason why people do this tour.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
It's the highlight.
Yeah.
I mean, we could move on to the Agra.
Yeah. I do want to say when we found our way out, because we had to find our way out of the gate, and then as soon as we walked out, there was that guy who like picked up Sophia. He's like, "I have your photos." Remember? Because we had to go to the coffee shop, and she was like, "What?" Like, because it wasn't the photographer.
Some guy.
Yeah, and he just knew, like, boom, like, I've got your photos. He was waiting there. He clearly knew who she was.
Yeah.
And yeah, he
sure
did.
Us as a trio.
Yeah.
Is
well, yeah, I guess it's
pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess we aren't hard to pick out.
Yeah, especially in India. I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if this trio has existed.
Fair enough. True story. Okay, I'll give you that. But it was still impressive.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And where did we go for dinner that night?
After Taj.
Was that another rooftop?
Might have been.
Yeah.
I feel like it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there was another table of a tour next to us.
Yeah. That wasn't the rooftop that we all squeezed into the elevator.
Not that one.
No, that was the other one.
Yeah.
Right. But I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way that this thing is moving.
And it took us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it was another rooftop. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that pretty much wrapped up that day. And then the following morning, we head to Agra Fort.
Yeah.
And, learn a little bit of history about the emperor who'd constructed it.
Yeah.
And there was... I mean, it was really impressive.
I really loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty stunning in itself. And I mean, that's where he lived, right? Like he and his wife had lived there.
Yeah.
And it was not far from the Taj, obviously, because you could see it.
Yeah, it was the 5th Mughal emperor, and his name was Shah Jahan.
Yep.
Yeah. And his wife, who the Taj commemorates, is Mumtaz.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And then that's the one where he had the 3 sons, right? And then the power-hungry youngest son killed everybody else off. And did he imprison the father? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the jail had a view of the Taj still, which was cool.
Yeah, that's right, because they told the story of him with the diamond and when he couldn't stand up and being able to
and
look
you couldn't
over.
see properly.
Yeah. Go and see that. I'm a sucker for that, like, little love story of him still. Still want to see my wife's memorial. Yeah, I really like that. And was that? Where did we see the parade of monkeys? Was that the parade of monkeys in the morning?
That was Agra Fort.
Yeah, running through. Like, that was wild.
Yeah.
It wasn't just 1 or 2.
No, it was 40.
It was
maybe 50.
Yeah.
Oh, one of them stole Sophia's water.
Yeah, Sophia's water bottle.
Yeah.
But with the monkeys just in general, every time we saw them, all I think of is, don't look them in the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Don't look them in the eye. They're mean. Yeah. Oh, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. No, and that was a good time because it wasn't crowded. It was still, like, quite not that hot temperature-wise. I thought the Agra Fort was a good stop at the end there.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Definitely.
We got lost because I made Pratzi take a photo with me because I wanted to have a photo by the prison area.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Sophia, can you just take our photo? Because I wanted to have just a little one, the 2 of us, and it was a nice little backdrop.
Yeah.
And so she said, yeah, she took it. And then we didn't know which way you guys went.
Yeah.
And you went up, and Bratzi was like, no, we end up over here. So we went over here, and couldn't find you. She had to call the guide. Yeah, that was totally my fault.
Okay, we were wondering where you guys went.
Yeah, that was my fault. Got left behind.
Oh man. And then after the fort, is that when we go to Shiro's?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think yeah.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Yeah, Shiro's was. Yeah, so it's a cafe that was started by women who are acid attack survivors, right? As a means to be able to get them to come out, really, because a lot of these women who are attacked quite didn't want to leave their homes. And it's a place where they could come together, and a lot of them are working there now.
Yeah.
And it originally started with and they had no restaurant experience. Started with a pay what you want kind of scheme for food and all that. Now they still have that for certain things, but they do have a set menu and all. Yeah. And they showed a little documentary of some of these women, and they're really inspiring. And just it's heartbreaking because a lot of these attacks are from their loved ones, right? Parents, husbands, relatives. Some are random.
But all senseless.
Yeah, all senseless, unjustified. And sometimes it's the attacker does 14 months in jail, and then they're back out, and they're disfigured for life and traumatized. It's terrible. But I did like at the end of the video when it says, we're not victims, we're survivors. Which is, it's just a small shift in the mindset, but huge. Right? Yeah. Huge.
Definitely.
It's a great little restaurant. I mean, I would highly encourage people to go, and they sell products.
Handicrafts and that kind of
handicraft,
thing.
All of that. Dean got a painting.
Yeah.
They thought he wanted to buy the coffee machine.
I don't think a Swiss guy would come to India to buy an Italian coffee machine, but that was so funny. Yeah.
I enjoyed that meal. Yeah, and it was when she described the menu, I thought it was either you're going to get this or this or this.
Yeah, there was a vegetable sandwich, there was a bunch of pakora, French fries.
Prata.
Yeah, and prata, but it was everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It was yummy.
Yep.
Yeah, really good. And that was that, right? And
then after Shiro's, we head back towards Delhi.
Yeah.
And we had another midway stop.
Yeah.
And went back to the same hotel that we were in prior to us leaving towards Jaipur.
Yeah.
And then had our farewell dinner.
Yeah. And a tuk-tuk ride.
Tuk-tuk ride, yeah.
One final tuk-tuk ride.
Yeah. The cacophony.
Yeah. But I'm glad we had it. I'm glad we did. That was good.
Food was good.
Yeah. Traffic was chaos, and you could feel a little bit of the buzz of the pre-Diwali kind of hype. Yeah. And they were starting to put the diyas outside the restaurant, the little lamps, and starting the decorations, and so it was good to kind of have that buzz. It was good. It was nice. And Sophia got her henna redone. Right? Yeah, because
there was henna at the palace when we were in Karuli.
Yeah.
But then this new henna that she got was significantly more detailed.
Oh yeah.
And both arms.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Yeah.
The two of us need to help her out a bit with carrying things and whatnot.
I can't believe we haven't talked about your main roles. We haven't even discussed the fact that you were professional photographer for all of her Insta, shots at the various sites. You did really well.
Oh, thank you.
most impressive?
I think it's fun, especially because her reactions are always the best.
Yeah. I mean, she would look at it like, oh, you can't, you're the best. Yeah. So, no, it was really good. So you went from professional photographer to...
Storage man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to, like, get her waist belt off her because she couldn't use her hands.
Yeah, the fanny pack.
Get her phone out. All of that.
Yeah.
Because the henna wasn't dry. Yeah. She was a trooper, though. Yeah.
And yeah, then we, after dinner, head back to the hotel and have a heartfelt goodbye session.
Yeah.
And that brings us to today.
Yeah.
You know.
Living up in the swanky hotel for a day. Yeah.
Yes.
I know. Just one last hurrah before heading out.
Which I need to thank you again, by the way, for letting me.
Don't be silly. I enjoy the company, and I was going to do it anyway, right? I did not want to get stuck in traffic.
Fair.
Festive traffic. Yeah. No, thank you.
This is our first Diwali in India, so we don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many other factors, you know. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a great tour. Really good.
Yeah, just short and sweet.
Yeah.
A really solid group, and the itinerary was great as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Yeah, enjoyable.
For sure.
Well, speaking of flights, we might need to...
Oh yeah, gonna have to motivate.
Yeah. But before we wrap up, Kristin, is there anything you want to, like, any final words or...
Wow. Just, you know, this, I gotta be honest, it was a last minute thing for me. I probably booked less than 2 weeks out of the trip.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had no idea about Intrepid. And just so glad I did. And really just, even though there were 7 of us, it was a great, diverse group, lots of fun. I loved the adventure, you know, aspect of it. Yeah. But I would recommend it, and just really enjoy. I enjoy meeting people from all over, right? So now, you know, I've got a friend from Mexico who lives in Houston. Another Kiwi who's in Aussie, but who knows where you'll end up if I want. And you've got some great recommendations in Tasmania. New friends from Switzerland. Travel is amazing, right? Not just for the things you see and do, but the people you meet, and that's what I love about it.
Same here. Yeah, couldn't have said any better myself. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me for this podcast.
It was an honor. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
And yeah, I'll let the group know when I post stuff up.
Cool.
But yeah, so we'll end things here. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and until next time.